You bend down to pull a weed from the garden, and your knees and your knuckles ache in a way they simply didn't 5 years ago. You walk into the kitchen and you stop. You forgot why you came in. And by 3 in the afternoon, a heavy tiredness settles over your shoulders like a wet coat you can't take off. You're not alone. And today we're going to fix that. You've probably seen the scary version online. Your gut is leaking, and that's why everything aches, fogs, and drags. The honest truth? Part of that is real. Part is badly oversold. And telling the two apart is the most useful thing you'll do for your body this year. Carol is 68. A retired school teacher who once graded 40 essays without blinking. Lately, she loses her train of thought mid-sentence. Her hands ache when she gardens. The afternoons leave her wiped out. Her doctor ran the usual tests. Everything came back normal. The verdict? It's just age, Carol. Then her granddaughter sent her a video with that exact claim. Your gut lining is probably leaking, and that's behind your joint pain, your brain fog, and your fatigue. So, is it true? Yes, there's something real here. Scientists call it intestinal permeability. And no, it is not a hoax. But that phrase, your gut is probably leaking, oversells it. Picture the lining of your intestine. You'd expect a thick, leathery wall. It isn't. It's a single layer of cells, one cell thick, standing shoulder to shoulder, like people in a line holding hands. The places where they hold hands have a name. Tight junctions. Think of them as the grip between two hands. When the grip is firm, your gut waves the tiny, digested nutrients through into your blood and keeps everything else out. But under the right kind of stress, those hands loosen their grip. The line opens, just slightly, and small fragments that were never meant to cross pieces of bacteria, bits of food, slip into the bloodstream. Your immune system sees them and does exactly what it was built to do. It sounds a quiet alarm, a low, smoldering fire of inflammation. And that fire, invisible on every one of Carol's tests, may be the quiet thread tying her sore hands, her foggy afternoons, and her fatigue together. Now here's the question that matters. If that fire is real, why doesn't everyone over 60 have it? And if you do, can you put it out? Because the answer to that second question is the most hopeful thing I'll tell you today. Your gut lining is not stone. It is one of the fastest renewing tissues in your body. Every few days, not years, days it sheds its old cells and builds a brand new lining from scratch. The same wall Carol thought was permanently broken, she'd been rebuilding it every few days her whole life and never knew it. So whatever shape your gut lining is in today is not a sentence, it's a snapshot. And you hold the brush. So what loosens the grip? There are 4 real drivers. The first is the fire itself. Carol's normal tests don't measure the low, slow inflammation researchers call inflammaging, the background hum that quietly rises as we age. And here's what nobody mentions. Inflammation and a loose gut lining feed each other. The fire loosens the grip. The loose grip feeds the fire. A loop. The good news? Break that loop at any single point and the whole thing weakens. The second driver is on your plate. Your gut bacteria have a favorite food. Fiber. Feed them fiber, and they pay you back with a substance called butyrate. Think of it as the maintenance crew for that wall, tightening the grip between the cells. Starve them of fiber and you lay off the crew. And most of us over 60 are feeding that crew far less than it needs, which, happily, is one of the easiest things on earth to change. The third driver is the one people refuse to believe. So read these next words slowly. It isn't only what you eat, it's how safe your body feels. Your gut and your brain are wired together by a single nerve, the vagus nerve, running like a phone line between them. Live in constant low-grade stress, and that line carries one message to your gut. Over and over, we are not safe, and the grip loosens. Chronic stress measured in the lab shows up as a more permeable gut. Carol had been quietly worrying about her memory for a year. She thought the worry was a symptom. It may also have been a cause. But here's the gift hidden in that the same wire runs both ways. And later I'll show you how to send it the opposite message. The fourth driver is the everyday stuff we never connect to our gut. A nightly glass or two of wine. Certain over-the-counter painkillers taken often for those very aching joints. Heavily processed foods. Each one loosens the grip a little. And notice the cruel trap. The painkillers Carol reached for to quiet her sore hands may have been working against the very lining that calms inflammation. I'm not telling you to stop any medication. Please never do that on your own. That's a conversation for you and your doctor, but it's one worth having. 4 drivers. And here's what every one of them has in common. Every single one you can influence. Not one of them is your age. Which brings me to the finding that changed how I think about aging. For years, the assumption was simple. Get older, gut gets leakier, end of story. So researchers tested it head-on. They compared the gut barrier of healthy older adults to healthy younger adults. And in the healthy older adults, the barrier held, largely intact. Aging by itself was not quietly wrecking their gut. For Carol, that single fact rewrote a whole year of being told it was just age. Her leaky gut, if she had one, wasn't coming from the candles on the birthday cake. It was tracking with the other things: the inflammation, the diet, the stress. The things she could actually reach. There's even early work, and I'll be honest, the strongest version of this is still in mice, so hold it loosely, suggesting that protecting the gut barrier may help protect the aging immune system itself. In people, the research is younger and more cautious, but the direction is the same. Your gut barrier may be one of the most repairable pieces of how you age. So how do you tighten the grip? 3 tools. You can start tonight. First, feed the maintenance crew. Fiber, not a powder, not a pill, because when researchers tested a single fiber supplement on its own, it didn't move the needle. There's no magic capsule. What works is the whole pattern, every day. Oats, beans, lentils, the skins of apples and pears, leafy greens, a handful of nuts. Every fiber-rich bite is a paycheck for the crew that repairs your wall. Second, add the deep colors: blueberries, dark grapes, olive oil, green tea, a square of dark chocolate. Think of these as your gut's peacekeepers calming the fire on the far side of the wall. And then there's the third tool, and this is the one that surprised me most. It isn't food at all. It's safety. This was the piece Carol had been missing. You can support your gut straight from your nervous system. A slow breath where the exhale is longer than the breath in sends that vagus phone line a brand new message. We are safe now. A few minutes a day. A walk after meals. A real night's sleep. You're not relaxing. You're sending a repair signal down the very same wire that loosened the grip in the first place. 6 weeks later, Carol is kneeling in her garden again. The morning is cool. The soil is dark and damp under her fingers, and her hands aren't shouting at her anymore. She stands, remembers exactly why she walked out to the shed, and laughs at herself for noticing. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't one supplement. It was fiber on the plate, color in the bowl, a longer exhale, a quieter evening. That's not a protocol. That's a life. So if you remember nothing else, remember these three. Feed your gut bacteria fiber, color, and roughness on every plate. Add the deep-colored foods that calm the fire, and send your body the safety signal one long, slow exhale at a time. Your gut lining is rebuilding itself this week, whether you help it or not. The only question is what you hand it to build with. Because here's the truth the scary headline left out. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal at any age. 60, 70, 80, that wall is going up again right now. If this helped you see your own body a little more clearly, share it with one person who's been told it's just age. They deserve the honest version too. And next time we follow this thread one step further into something that touches your gut, your energy, and your brain all at once. Something most people over 60 get completely wrong. Your blood sugar. Not the diabetes story you've heard 100 times. The other one, the one behind the afternoon crash, the cravings, and that foggy hour after lunch. That one might change the most. I'll see you there.